Does anybody know how to do this? Is this? What do we do? I can't remember.
I can hear someone's mic rustling. That's enough
Carl's
for me.
mouse. Oh, I remember.
Oh.
Hello and welcome to ABW Live. It's been a while. The last time we were here, it was glory hunting because we smashed Spurs something like 8-0. And the time before that was many, many moons ago before Arteta, he said Wenger there, Arteta bought himself an entire new defence. With me tonight, first of all, it's, someone's watching. It's Josh, top right-hand corner. How you doing, Josh?
I'm good, thank you. Well, I say good. It's still relative, isn't it? I've just seen Arsenal lose. Brighton lost earlier. Yeah, it's not a great day, but you know what? We can just talk about it now, and maybe it'll be cathartic, or maybe not.
Also with us tonight is Karl. Have you had a good day, Karl? I saw the pictures of your family on your Instagram. You all look very happy and smiley. And
it was Mummy's birthday, so we took her out last week for her birthday. Kind of where it stops the fun. You know what they say, when the fun stops. They kind of stopped today about 4:45, but somewhere along those lines. But no, not too bad. I guess we're here to air our grievances about today's results, which was kind of expected, but not in that fashion, I guess is what I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, I expected Mane to get sent off for a start. That was top of my lists. Why he was even
don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Someone might not know yet.
Oh yeah, sorry, spoiler. Mane should have been sent off.
Let's have a say hello to some of the people who have remembered what ABW Live is and come to say hello. Joshua Page. Hello, Josh. Gemini, Jedi. Nearly got that wrong. There's our own Nick Fights. Avon Teddington says, I'm surprised Chris isn't here. It's just what we're all saying. Oh dear. Or as OG sent me a message saying Chris will be on the pod this week. Oh dear. He might want to deny all knowledge that you sent that, so I can't confirm nor deny. Josh Page again. And then Nick again, Avon again. El Idarius. I don't know how you say your name. It's our friend in Russia. Howdy doody. And Joshua Page as well. No state of emergency from Chris. Give it time. He's probably working on a script as we speak. Right then, as you all know, we went to Anfield. We lost 4-0. Not the end of the world because Liverpool are one of the three best teams in the world, along with Man City and Bayern Munich. No one really goes there and wins. Did Brighton go there and win, Josh?
No, they drew. They drew.
Thing. It's as good as a win.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to be fair, last season they lost to Burnley at home. They had that awful run, and they lost to Brighton as well. Ooh, that's a bit weird. Yeah, Liverpool aren't necessarily great at home, but obviously it always helps when Michael Oliver doesn't take his yellow cards out with him. That tends to not help us. But yeah, I'm sure there's other. It wasn't just Michael Oliver that was the the downfall of why we lost that game. It wasn't just down to him. There were certainly many other reasons why. Yeah, we shipped 4 goals. I'm sure we're going to get into them in a sec.
We are. If we look at the starting lineup, start with you, Karl. Are you surprised with any aspect of the starting lineup? Maybe did Partey come back a little bit too soon? Tavares playing. We were talking before the show that Tierney has played back-to-back games for Scotland midweek, played 90 minutes, then played 87 minutes. He played on the left side of a 3-man, 3 centre-backs, and they won 2-0 and then 2-0 again. And to see his face at the second half when Arteta came out, Tierney wasn't even making eye contact with him, but just looked staring straight ahead, staring straight through him, I think is the phrase. And that was a huge mistake tonight, wasn't it? Or maybe it wasn't, Karl. What do you think?
Hindsight is a wonderful thing. And we can all sit here now and say that Tierney probably should have played with Tavares' performance because it was nothing short of shocking. But if Arteta felt that Tierney wasn't up to playing, then I understand. You have to understand that on that side, you've got Trent Alexander and Mo Salah, probably 2 of the best right-sided players in the world at the moment. Their combination, the fact that you got Mo Salah running at you, and you've got Trent Alexander being able to put a ball in a sixpence, it's kind of hard. It really is, and he felt that maybe Tavares was the person who could have sort of managed it. Okay, he didn't, and it wasn't good. Tierney starting for me, probably not. Tavares hadn't put a foot wrong in the previous game. So, if you're playing well, you deserve to keep your place. What kind of message does that send if you're playing well and then you just get dropped? So I understand the reason why Arteta started Tavares today. And I actually agree with it. I really do. There was no real shocks in the starting lineup at all. Partey coming in. I mean, if he's fit, he's, I guess, one of the two starting centre midfielders, and you have to play him. Although a conversation about Partey definitely needs to be had very, very soon. Barring that, the only change maybe would have been Odegaard for Lacazette, maybe just to shore up that midfield, because I thought that midfield battle was going to be one of the ones was going to be so important for us to win. We didn't win it, unfortunately, but apart from that, there was no real sort of standout shocks about the starting lineup.
Josh, any wise words from your tactical view of what went wrong? If you can get that done in under an hour, I'll be impressed.
I mean, yeah, like Karl says, the lineup there was no one that I would have said, oh, let's do let's start Tierney over Tavares. There was nothing there to me that said that was an obvious choice for him to come in. So yeah, I think Tavares deserved his place in the starting 11. We'll probably talk about later in the game of whether or not KT should have come on. But I'd also say, other than the second goal, I don't think Tavares is the only issue that Arsenal had today. It's not all down to him. It wasn't because he had a stinker that we lost 4-0. I mean, it's the reason why we conceded the second goal. But I think generally there weren't many players that came out of this performance who can hold their heads high. There were a lot of learnings that these players are going to take away from them. We kept a lot of youngsters out on the field at that point, where some may say, take these players off because they need protecting, or we bring on experience over them. But I think this is just one of the fixtures we'll look back on and go, that was kind of a lot of these players needed that kind of result for them, because they had 10 games unbeaten, and someone like Tomiyasu never seen a defeat at Arsenal in his career so far. Same for Ramsdale. I don't think Ramsdale has seen a loss either since he came into the side. So I think it's all about, we built a lot of momentum. It's how this team then reacts next week as well. For me, that's the short answer, but I'm sure we'll go into it a bit more.
Mentioning next week, what a way to bounce back from getting smashed at Anfield to then take on the worst team by a country mile in the Premier League. That's going to be good, isn't it?
It depends who's in charge, doesn't it? At that point, bearing in mind with our fixtures, it could be
Who's in charge? As in Newcastle, we're playing next, aren't we?
Yeah, it's Newcastle. They'll probably sack him. Eddie Howard's got COVID, isn't
he? Sack him.
Just sack him.
Didn't Newcastle come out and say that they've already they didn't realise how much financial badness was going on at Newcastle and how poor the squad was? Anybody could have told you that.
Going to Newcastle, Newcastle coming to us. Yeah, we've got a run of okay fixtures, and then we play United the weekend after as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Ollie's still at the wheel, pissed, and still in that ditch. But it's going to be how we react to the next couple of games. A bit like we said after losing to Man City and losing to Chelsea at the beginning of the season. Both those games, we were like, right, we've got to see how this team reacts. And they went 10 unbeaten. So you can't really ask, fairer than that for how this team is reacting to adversity. especially now that we've kind of brought that back four in. We've just got to see what goes on for the next couple of games, but it's by no means should we be throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
True. But did anybody expect anything else from this game? What would you have been happy with?
I don't think we should have lost 4-0. I'll be honest with you. No one right now should be happy that we lost 4-0. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have expected to lose. I get it. Liverpool are miles better than us. Liverpool are probably the best team in the world right now, like barring Bayern Munich, Chelsea and Man City. Like they are absolutely brilliant on their day. They can carve anyone apart as they did today. But I think it was more maybe the manner of the defeat. If we lost 4-0 and it's not good, but I felt like at times we were handing them the game. I felt like the mistakes that we were making, and it's almost like for just a brief period of time we couldn't even string a pass together. Like when he's watching it on TV, or if everyone watched the Sky version, it seemed like Liverpool would have an attack. Sky would show the replay, come back to the game, and Liverpool attacking again. It just seems like we just couldn't get out. We just seemed like we stuck to our guns of this playing out from the back, and it wasn't working today. It genuinely was not working today, but it almost seemed like Arsenal of old, where we didn't react to that. Liverpool are a team that press, probably the best pressing team in the Premier League. They absolutely hunt people down and they get the ball back from you. It's almost like that whole, if when the opposition's got the ball, you have 10 seconds to get that ball back, and they hunt in packs is what they do. And I felt like today, maybe playing out from the back wasn't the best thing to do.
I mean, it worked for us in the first half. In the first half, we were comfortable with the Liverpool press. There was clearly something that happened at half time where, Liverpool just either kicked into another gear or we just lost all the rhythm that we had. And I can't.
It was a definite change, wasn't there? You could see it coming towards the end of the first half.
Yeah. And whether or not that's because Arteta on the sideline, when Mane went and clattered into Tomiyasu and didn't get a yellow card, went and called Klopp a horse-faced twat. And maybe that
WWF.
Maybe that fired him up. Maybe that.
Who do you think's winning a fight out of Arteta and Klopp? Like one-on-one.
I mean,
Klopp was the centre back, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's 6'4", so he's got teeth. He's big, and he's got teeth that could. What's the phrase? He could eat an apple through a
letterbox or
something like that. Or it's Arteta, who I think he's the kind of dirty one. He's the one that throws sand in someone's eyes and then has a shit on him and just sticks it into your face.
He's Spanish, isn't he? They're not known for their attacking prowess, whereas the Germans, you don't mess with the Germans, where he'll ruin him.
I mean, the English, we've defeated both in war, so I don't know.
Nothing like bringing it back to the 1400s. That'll show them.
Yep, that'll do it. Arteta, don't fucking get on a boat. That's all I'm saying. We'll fucking take you out.
But after the end of the first, there was all quite some good things during the first half from us. Mainly bringing the ball out of defence and some of the stuff with from down the right hand side from Tomiyasu. That was looking pretty good because it looked like he had the bettering. That's not even a word. He had Mane under his thumb, and I thought
he did until he got fucking elbowed in the head.
until he started seeing stars.
Exactly. I'm still angry about that. And then Mane was just on one as he normally is, going around kicking people up in the air, being a snide little bastard because he's having a shit season compared to the pyramid pennant. And I still have no idea how he stayed on the field.
Did you notice in the first half? When I think Salah collided with Ramsdale, and one of the 9 times that Ramsdale got collided into. I'm sure when Salah got up and walked away, he put a foot in as he got up, gave him a little kick of his left foot into his chest. Did I imagine that? They only showed it briefly for a quick replay. Anyone else see that?
Is that because it was the Liverpool Mafia directing the game? Yeah,
definitely.
No, I saw the Jota leaving his foot in. I know he ended up being injured as well.
Mine are still retracted from that tackle.
Yeah.
When the player's laying on his back and they're moving his leg around, it's not his leg that is the problem. It's holding his balls.
Ramsdale was counting the boys. That's what he was doing. Count them up, 1, 2, 3.
That is a pain. That if that happens to me, just get me a duvet, put the duvet on me, and just leave me for about a week. Don't speak to me. Turn the lights off, because that's not, especially when it come in, because Jota was trying to toe poke the ball past him, wasn't he? He did toe poke a ball, but just not the ball that he was aiming for. Oh dear! But Karl, were you hopeful that the second half would be a little bit more fruitful for us?
I was hoping that we wouldn't. I was hoping that we wouldn't come out and go gun ho. Like I was hoping Arteta would say to the players, it's only one. We can get into this game, and all he needs to do is probably quiet the fans down for about 10 minutes, as we did in the first half, and then sort of go for it. But it didn't work out that way, unfortunately. I just think that it almost seemed like we were scared to attack. Like no one will know what was said at half time in that game, unfortunately. But it just seemed like we came out, we were scared to attack them. Liverpool, literally, every time they got the ball, they seemed dangerous. So I guess it was almost whatever Klopp said to them at half time, it definitely worked. But whatever Arteta said to Arsenal at half time definitely didn't. And I was worried just because Mo Salah was growing into the game more and more, and it was annoying. He's annoyingly good. He is. He's very, very good. And like I said, I think Tavares just didn't play well, and Lokonga definitely in the first 5 minutes of the first half, you knew that this wasn't the game for him. And Arteta, credit to him, made the switch very, very early, because even he could see that. Maybe even said to Lokonga, I'm going to give you 5-10 minutes in the second half and you have to improve. And obviously he didn't, because he was giving the ball away. He couldn't shoot a pass together. And yeah, Arteta, like I said, credit to him. He made the change very early, brought on Ainsley, Maitland-Niles, and
conservative.
Even he was, thank you, and even he was unlucky, maybe not to start as well. But he had to make that change very early, and it kind of, you look at his playing style, and you think that he's lazy. He's got this lazy sort of ness about him, but he's not. He gets about, like he definitely gets about the pitch, and I think maybe this game will maybe shift just a little bit, where if Sambi, you're thinking that Sambi should start, then maybe Ainsley will start games now instead of Sambi. Maybe he'll take him out the firing line just a little bit. I mean, we'll see in the next game against Newcastle, because it's going to be obviously Partey and another, if Partey doesn't get injured, because he's always injured, seems to be injured lately. But yeah, the second half for me, whatever happened, it didn't. Whatever Arteta's plan was, it definitely did not go to plan.
Yeah, I think when I kind of saw it, it looked like what they were doing was, because Tavares was making those runs down the wing, they just ended up in the second half. They were just like, let him have it, because Salah's getting drawn back and we'll just leave him on the front foot. And I think that was the issue, is that Salah stopped tracking Tavares. So then it was just easy for him to then get in behind, run at Gabriel, and we saw that in. And I see Chris has entered the chat as well, much to everybody's disappointment.
Where's he been for the last magnificent run?
Well,
and sticking bloody baguettes up his bum.
Moving children around places that they shouldn't be. As I've seen people have seen that. All of the things about the French league being not the League of Farmers, the League of Nonces.
Allegedly.
Sorry. Yeah, allegedly, I should say, according to certain, I think, writer for the New York Times /I or Guardian. It was one of them. But anyway, League of Nonces. Yeah.
It's throwing you off now. Anybody worried about Partey? Because he come back and did fuck all.
Sell him.
I don't think.
Sell him.
You've been on this bandwagon. Weren't you on the Highbury squad? And then you said that, and then you got a yellow card or something. One of your 100 yellow cards.
I broke Kev Campbell. That's why I haven't been on since. He got broken by that. I wouldn't sell him necessarily, but let's put it this way.
Sorry,
yeah, I was going to say that at that point, it was because of his injury record. And I was like, well, you've got this, basically, you've got a Ferrari, but it's in the garage with no wheels. What's the point of having it? And now the question is he even a Ferrari? Is he maybe a Lamborghini? Is he, I don't know, is he just a Fiat?
That's done
Yeah, exactly.
Ferrari?
Exactly. Is he a baby Ferrari a la a Fiat? Or is he, as you say, Danny, a converted MR2 in Croydon?
I probably talk about it more on the pod this week, but the conversation needs to be had about Partey because I understand that players do not set their price. What we paid for him is what we valued him at, and that's what we bought him for. But I don't see at the moment what he brings to Arsenal. What is his role? Is he a deep line playmaker? Is he a box to box? Is what does or what is his role in the Arsenal team? I mean, barring the one goal he scored against, who did he score the header against?
It was a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
Absolutely no one, I'd have said.
No, he scored a header.
Was it Leicester?
Yeah, I think it was Leicester's opening goal, wasn't it?
Apart from him scoring that goal against Leicester, which again, even that goal was a bit ropey. What has he done? Does he do assists?
Oh, he had a good shot earlier, didn't he?
Yeah,
that was a decent shot.
But do you buy players because they can? That's basically a basic save for any goalkeeper. And if Alisson had conceded that, I would have been questioning him. And I'm not saying that he's shit. Let me get this straight. He's not shit. But we want more from him. We do. There's no doubt that at all. And the conversation, I guess, just like Pepe, we've got this player who we paid a very high price for, but they're not doing what we want. And I'm not saying he's got to come out and score 10, 20 goals every season, but maybe that's not his role. But what is his role?
Yeah, I think it's one of those, if we had a functioning midfield before we brought Partey in, Partey would have taken that functioning midfield to a next level.
Probably so.
Player to come in and
maybe he needs a different midfield partner, and
potentially doesn't look like he's got the injury record for it.
But then,
he's worrying. That's one of our marquee players, and he's had a decent run of games, but injured too much and not doing. I don't watch him. I mean, he come from my Spanish side, but he's not doing the kind of job that I thought he would be doing, as in giving the ball, getting the ball and putting magnificent through balls all the time, over and over, through to Lacazette and Aubameyang, who did either of them touch the ball during the game at all?
I was going to put in the chat, I was going to put in our WhatsApp group, has Aubameyang touched the ball in the first half? And I'd be interested to see how many touches he had in the first half. I can remember the shot he had in the second half, which he was offside for, I believe. And also the pass into Lacazette, where he was offside 22, for as well.
He had 22 touches the entire game. Lacazette had 24.
And 4 of those are pickups.
Yes. Our fullbacks, Tomiyasu 53, Tavares 67, half of which were to Liverpool players. Gabriel 60, White 62, Ramsdale 45. 4 of those are picking the ball out of the net. I don't know if they count. Rowe had 28, Saka 43, Partey 42, Lokonga 37. But Aubameyang only getting 22 touches. Well, getting 18 touches. That is terrible. He was getting absolutely nothing.
He was. This was a bad game for him, but you have to. You can look at it both ways. Was he doing enough, or was he not getting the service? That's the two things you got to look at.
Both, definitely.
When was the last time you had a good game, though? To be honest, was it Fulham last season when Willian got a hat trick of assists?
Again, but like we were saying in our WhatsApp group, that's another conversation that needs to be had. Do we look to bring someone in January? Because he's going to go for 4 weeks. So you are looking at Lacazette being our main striker, and also with flipping Nketiah. So for those 4 weeks, we are looking at Lacazette and Nketiah, who both don't really inspire you, does it? Like, not at all. You don't look at those two and think, oh yeah, those are the two main strikers. It's going to be brilliant, and maybe Martinelli. So I think our we definitely need a new striker for the next season. That's for sure, because Lacazette is probably going to go. Let's be honest. And Aubameyang, has he lost / losing it? Do you really want to rely on your main striker being a 33? He'll be 33 by then, won't he? Like a 33-year-old striker, maybe not. So the striker situation again is something that we need to look at very, very shortly. And even then, we need to bring in maybe two strikers. You're looking at, because we're going to lose Nketiah, we're going to lose Lacazette. So if those two go, you're looking at Balogun and Aubameyang being your main strikers for the Arsenal Football Club.
And whatever Martinelli's got, if by the end of it, the blackmail that somebody's got on him or whatever Arteta hates about him is resolved, that he's another option for us as striker as well. Perhaps that's one that we'll see during AFCON, because we'll see, as you kind of say, that Aubameyang goes, Pepe goes as well. There's going to be opportunities for someone like Martinelli, surely, to be getting into this side.
Let's talk. Let's cheer ourselves up, Josh. Talk a little bit about Ramsdale in the first half. My God, that man was like, what's it? Eddie Honda, the 100-hand slap in Street Fighter. At no point could you pause the game and think he had any less than 6 hands. The way he was parrying and diving and shoving and passing over. Someone put in the chat there, if it wasn't for him, this could have been 6 or 7-0, couldn't it?
Oh, definitely. It was like he was at Sheffield United again. He's probably loving it, or Bournemouth, or any of those relegation sides he played for before. Just, the goal getting absolutely battered. I think he probably loved it. It was like a training session for him. And yeah, you say the string of saves that he was making in the first half, second half, it was absolutely superb, until he then got kicked by Jota. Had to count the number of balls he had left. Got to an odd number, got a bit worried. And I think that's the kind of issue we saw, that clearly leaving something in on a player with no recompense has clearly affected him, because I don't think he really then made a great save. After that, we were just completely ruined, and it looked like it was because he was probably then carrying the injury that we saw inflicted on him. But as you say, Danny, he was absolutely superb. I think, again, one of the players that can walk away from that game with his head held high despite conceding 4.
Go on, Karl. Vent all your love for Mr. Ramsdale.
I thought it was absolutely world class today. I genuinely do. And I will always hold my hands up. At the start of the season, I was definitely one of the players. I fucking wish. One of the people.
We wished you were a player, Karl. You'd have got stuck in central midfield. You'd have fucked some people up. If nothing else, you'd have ruined their journey to work. The bus wouldn't have got to the stadium.
Well, it's Liverpool. You don't need any help. Them stealing their hubcaps or tyres, allegedly.
No, not allegedly. Fact.
But no, he was very, very good today. And like I said, I put my hands up. I did not want him at the start of the season. I was one of the people who was very skeptical, but I am happy to be proven wrong. He's doing well for us, and he's going to have games where he's going to concede goals. This is Arsenal. Like, he's going to have to realize that, not every game is he going to be able to keep everything out. And we're going to have shaky games. But today, you cannot fault him. None of the goals were goalkeeping errors. And that's the corner of one of the... You concede 4 goals. You kind of think maybe the goalkeeper had a bad game. He had an absolutely brilliant game, and he still conceded 4 goals. So you really now just have to dust himself off and just go forward. Like, he just needs to... The whole club from Monday, when they go back to training, just need to focus on that Newcastle game. And I guess all you need to do is really stop San Maximum. So when you stop him, you should be able to beat the Newcastle team. But Aaron Ramsdale for me, brilliant today, absolutely brilliant today. I can't fault him in the slightest.
In hindsight, Josh, what could we have done to not get smashed 4-0? What would you have if you could get in the old DeLorean?
I think Karl could have done us a solid, ruined the trains for the Arsenal players going up there, and we'd have taken a 3-0 forfeit.
I was going to say that.
That would have helped us.
Only a 3-0.
We would have taken only a 3-0. What could we have done? I think one of the things that is holding us back, and it sounds almost a bit counterintuitive, but we were so impotent in front of goal. And if you've got a decent striker, like Karl was saying, I mean, at least our striker isn't 28 and got no ankles. But we've got to get that kind of fear, because Liverpool realised in the second half we weren't going to break them down. Aubameyang wasn't getting in behind anymore. Lacazette, they knew he's probably got about 60 minutes in his legs before he has to go off for another cheeseburger. Or no, sorry, they don't call it cheeseburger in France, do they? It's a
on croque monsieur.
Right, Royale with cheese.
Oh yes.
So there was just they just weren't.
The other one.
I was hoping it was Pulp Fiction. I was hoping for something from like Smith Rowe. We've seen that he wants to add more goals to his game. I thought Saka going forward was great, but didn't necessarily have the options going with him. And we were stuck in this kind of rock from a hard place where we clearly didn't want to push forward as much because we knew we'd get caught on the break. But we also needed to start pushing Liverpool back, getting behind them. And it's insane that we've got to that point. That we need.
You can time him out if you want.
Oh, what was that, Chris? It's fine. It's fine. Lacazette did all right, I thought today, but
he's a striker. He's not a creative number 10, is he? He was but we also too much time running back trying to sort things out, and then we all know when he has a game like that, he's fucked after 60 minutes.
But then we did need him for his hold-up play as well, because anyway, we were getting upfield.
But it didn't work, did it? So hopefully that'll be the end of that. I only want him playing if he's going to be coming on as a striker or playing big man, little man up front. Playing in that, holding it up. All he does is get kicked. And he's an old man. He's nearly 30, or he is 30. And he doesn't have the passing ability. I think I'd much rather have seen Odegaard play there. At least you're going to get some decent passing out of him. And he's still young. He's not been run ragged.
But Danny, what you have to remember, and Josh, to remember is that this man is going to be starting for us in January. He's going to be our starting striker for us. Him
as a striker, I'm happy.
We just said that he can't last more than 60 minutes. So what we're going to do is he's coming off for Eddie.
I know what we won't do, Karl. We won't be bringing on Martinelli at any point. That's what I do know.
It'll be Odegaard false 9 or
Odegaard will be playing the 8, 9, 10 and 11 all on his own. And they'll be dead after 2 games.
But this is what I'm saying. It's worrying that, and I know maximum maybe 4-5 weeks you're looking at, but God forbid we get an injury to Aubameyang. Let's say Aubameyang goes to the African Cup of Nations and comes back injured. What do we do then? Our season's kind of effed if that happens. If he's even saying that we're keeping Eddie, if someone offers us 2 million for Eddie in January, we've got to accept that, right? We have to.
Yeah.
You can't just not get anything for him. If someone offers us even $1 million, we accept it.
I don't think Aubameyang.
Well, maybe not $1 million, because it's probably not worth it. But
yeah, I say even if Uber came back, right now he's only got 4 goals for us in 11 games, and that isn't good enough at all. So if he was missing, is it that much of a problem for us? I don't think so, because I don't see what he does for us. As Danny said, 22 touches. We could get somebody else to take kickoff for us, and that would halve the amount of.
He's stat padding with all the goal kickoffs.
With all the kickoffs.
Oh dear.
Yeah, 4 goals.
Someone's put in the chat here. Who was it? Richard Garrett should have dropped ESR into the middle and put a left winger. Would that have been an ideal game for Pepe? Because we saw in the first half when Tomiyasu is running down that right hand side, and him and Smith Rowe, him and Smith Rowe. No, was it on the right? Saka, I think, was on the right. Yeah, because
Mhm.
everyone was swapping sides a little bit. Would that have worked, Karl, do you think? Maybe playing Pepe on the left wing?
No, because
No?
Pepe's not running back. But playing on the left wing against Trent and Salah, no. With Tavares behind him, no way, no bloody way. That would be a recipe for disaster, because as much as Smith Rowe was helping him come like running back, Pepe's not doing that. Pepe ain't running back to help out Tavares, and that would have been a recipe for disaster, because Trent and Salah would have had more of a field day than they did today. So, yeah, I don't think it was a game for Pepe. Newcastle may well be, where you just say to him, just run at the fullback. But today, no, not at all. I think maybe I did say, and I even tweeted it on from the pod account, that Odegaard maybe should have played ahead of Lacazette, and I'm not saying I was proved right, because we don't know what would have happened. We don't know whether it
You
was...
weren't proved wrong. That's the important bit.
There is that, but I think just today it showed that maybe Lacazette, like Chris said, Lacazette isn't a number 10.
Don't say like Chris said. Oh God,
well, I know. Even I feel dirty saying it. Like I genuinely do. And I will watch my life out with soap later, but
he's gone and ruined his Paddington stripy pants. Now you've said that. He's gone all like who was it? Reeves and Mortimer, you know, when he used to stand up in front of Ulrika and he'd rub his pants like that. Hello. He's doing that on his dining room table.
You see, now, I just gave Chris props, and now I'm going to take it back. Because for some unknown reason, why is he hating on Mo Salah? Mo Salah is top 5 players in the world. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to... He is. He absolutely is. Like, and he shows it every season. You cannot score 30 goals every single season and not be a good player. It's as simple as that. You can't do it. As much as it's like we hate Harry Kane. I hate him, but Harry Kane is a very, maybe not this season, but
or
he's
last
a good
season.
striker. All that. But he's a good striker. He gets you goals. Like in a good team, Harry Kane will get in goals. Like, and when he goes to Man City for 25 million at the end of the season, like he'll show it. But no, Mo Salah's a good player. But as I was talking about with Chris, Mo Salah, here we got Salah on the brain now. Like I said, he's not a number 10. He's not. He is a striker. We bought him as a striker. His passing range hasn't adapted for him to be a quote-unquote number 10, false 9, whatever you want to call it. He's the player that he gets about, and that's what it is. He hunts down the centre-backs and hunts down whatever their deep laying midfielder is and gets you the ball. But barring that, doesn't really do much else, and that's not his game. And we're trying to mold him into something that he's not. He's not a number 10. He's not a false 9. He's an actual number 9.
He's a good number 9 that holds up play well. He holds up well. Yeah, his passing isn't necessarily there. But you know what? He's not there to be creating for Aubameyang. He should be there holding the ball up. Let's just get Smith Rowe and Saka up in place. If I'm talking about anybody that should have started in front of Odegaard, I'm talking about our club captain. Because, as I say, 11 games, 4 goals, 22 touches today.
Not good enough.
5 of them kickoffs. It's not good enough to get that kind of service or that kind of output from him, because there were definitely opportunities for him as well. He looked all right, but it just didn't seem to be his day. Lacazette, last season, he was our top goal scorer. And Aubameyang didn't have enough Cup of Nations to go to or any of that. He was just shit. And
look at this from Phil Macker. If Salah was French, the pirate would be in love with him.
Oh, of course he would. He'd be saying
if he played for Valencians or Saint Etienne. Oh, he'd be the next great hope.
I guess we're avoiding it, but we're going to talk about, I guess, the Tavares mistake. Josh, when you...
Hold on, before you say that, can I read you some of... I did a series of tweets about Mr. Tavares, and here we go. Magnificent assist by Tavares for the Leo goal. About 3 minutes later, that's not it. Another magnificent through ball from Tavares, split our entire defence. Is the fact that bin tippers are playing in red confusing the poor lad? Tierney must be furious. Superb curling shot at goal by Tavares. Ramsdale didn't like it. And look at that. Look at Tavares in that goal. Mark Salah all the way back until he decides to run over and tackle whoever's got the ball and leave Salah on his own. Schoolboy defending. And that was just absolutely shocking, Karl.
Yeah, like we said, Tavares didn't have a good game at all today. Not at all. I can understand Josh's argument for keeping them on the pitch, and I semi-agree. But something just tells me that damage limitation you should have put on Tierney if he's fit. We don't know if he's 100% fit, but if he's fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to play a game. That's as simple as it's the truth. But yeah. And I agree with Josh. This kind of game has got to make him stronger. You'd hope that Arteta would sit down with him at some point during the week when they watch this game back, and he would have to watch that over and over again and show what mistake he made, and just obviously say, look, you cannot make the mistake. You've got to have your wits about you. You can't just pass into an area, because he almost like done a no-look pass, thinking that he was cool, but unfortunately.
No look. No. You don't do a no look pass when you're 3-0 down at Anfield, and
against Liverpool, just nothing like. And that was it wasn't good. Like, he knew the mistake he made. He tried to make up for it, and I think once he was trying to make up for his mistake, that's what he kept letting people in behind him, because he kept trying to get forward and almost try and score and assist, and he was way up the pitch, and this space that Mo Salah had was just absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, he's a young lad. No one can have a 10 out of 10 game. No one. And he will learn from his mistake. He may not even sleep tonight. He may watch his game back, or maybe with one of the players that don't care, just shrug his shoulders, and that's it. But I personally would have taken him off just to say, look, this is obviously not the game for you. The two right-sided players for Liverpool are just absolutely killing him. And that's why you saw for a period of time, they had to give him a respite and put Tomiyasu on the left-hand side and put Tavares on the right, because he just was having a bad game. Now, if you're going to do that, then take him off.
Well, I think Tomiyasu was having a dodgy game on the other side as well. Second half, he was nowhere near Mane. The number of times Mane got in behind and Tomiyasu's not even on the screen, he wasn't the only fullback that had a bit of dodgy problems. I think switching was a bit of both. Tavares having his bit of dodgy moment, but Tomiyasu wasn't great either. Switch sides for them, and they're then defending players that are going to come into their stronger fit. And that's what I kind of saw from it. And also they switched after every corner as well. I don't know if you saw that, because I think...
Yeah.
I think it was Tomiyasu was always at the back post, and so he was always naturally on the left when it was a left-sided corner. That he then went to left back. Then he switched when the ball went out of play. But I don't think it was the right time to take them off. Both of them stayed out there. I think there were other players that I'd have taken off instead. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's all going to be about how Tavares comes back from this. And Danny, do you think that Tavares has got it in him? Still young to come back from that kind of performance.
Yes, of course he does. It's everything is a learning curve. Yeah, I think we all know that top four. We all said top 4 this season was gone. Top 3 is gone. And they are going to be so far ahead of everybody else, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, that our results against them are meaningless for me. We can do our best, and that's all we can do. And if we lose, we probably lose all 6 games. but that doesn't matter because we are not fighting. We're not competing against them for places or points or trophies or anything. And for the likes of Tavares, I think is how you say his name. If he's watching, I don't want him getting upset because he had a bad enough day as it is. Hopefully he'll be dropped for the next game. And then all these players came in too soon. They don't know the way. They had no pre-season. They don't know the way that the Arsenal work under Arteta, and he'll be dropped. Tierney will come back in, and then he'll go back to coming on as a sub and playing one of many positions, or playing the League Cup games, the early FA Cup games if it's no one important. But I don't care about this game. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just looking forward to next Saturday at 12:30. We're at home to Newcastle. And we are absolutely going to ruin them. It's going to be another slobber knocker, and this time it's going to be 10-0 to Arsenal. So where do we go? With no point talking about any of the goals, is there? Don't care about any of the goals.
No, it was. Listen, apart from the Tavares one, look, it was Liverpool played well. They cut us open. We could have played better and not handing them the game, but this is Liverpool. We're talking about a team that are and Josh will probably agree, they are top 3 teams in the world right now. You could put them up against any team and you would kind of bet for Liverpool, maybe Bayern Munich, Chelsea aside. They are brilliant. Klopp has got them playing absolutely brilliantly. You can't deny that. Arsenal we are a long way away from them. I didn't think the gap was 4-0 kind of that vast because we've been playing well. And I just want to say, fuck off, Chris. And then Chris is going to say something like, oh, but look at the teams we played. You can only play what's in front of you. That's my caveat. But we just need to, it does depend on how you bounce back from this. You know, on Monday morning, when they walk into training, Arteta needs to sit them down and just say, look, Liverpool game's done. It's finished. It's gone. It's out of the way. We now look to Newcastle, a team that hasn't won, the only team in the whole of the English leagues who haven't won a game this season. And we're playing them at home. If that's not a game, a confidence booster game, like nothing else is. I do expect.
So you know that we're going to lose that game now. Now that you said that.
I do expect Bergkamp to have these absolutely worldy turn into prime Neuer, no doubt. But we should be beating them, and you just got to you have to not worry about what happened at Anfield. We got beat. Not good. We need to just move on, let it go. It's done. Move on to Newcastle, and that's it. And hopefully, no one's picked up an injury. Hopefully, Tierney does come back better if he wants to play.
Bounce back better.
Yeah, hopefully he does. And barring that, there's no players that are going to come back anytime soon. I don't think Xhaka is coming back. Well, apparently he's training, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's 2 months ahead of schedule. So that's not bad.
Chris is starting against Newcastle.
I mean, he might be on the bench. It wouldn't surprise me if he's on the bench.
He's a monster, that's why.
He's come back 2 months ahead of schedule. You can't deny that. That's not absolutely brilliant. So, well, depending on how you look at it, if you're a Xhaka fan or not. I know Chris is absolutely waiting for Xhaka to come back in on one of his many Arsenal shirts.
Chris took all of his Arsenal shirts and had all the numbers scraped off and had Xhaka put on the back of every single one of them, including the green one from 1984, which is worth about 600 quid.
No, but and we've got to do something with Aubameyang. We need him to start playing better. I mean, Josh, I've got a question for you, which is quite. We're gonna have to deal without Xhaka. We're gonna have to do without Aubameyang for about 4 weeks. Would you now start blooding in, or maybe it's games away, start blooding in the people who are going to play instead of him? Maybe start playing Lacazette up front and seeing how we do without Lacazette. How we do without Aubameyang.
Oh, I'd love to see Aubameyang dropped easily. We're seeing how well we were doing with Pepe being dropped. We had 10 games unbeaten. I think it's the same with Aubameyang. I don't think he brings too much right now to us. I would, if Odegaard is now getting back and he's now, kind of fit, because he had that kind of terrible run of games, didn't he? During our unbeaten run, got dropped out, and that's when Lacazette came in. Yeah, I'd give it an opportunity with Smith Rowe, Saka, and Odegaard behind Lacazette. I think it's probably the lineup most of us probably want to see, is that kind of group. Maybe bring in, as people calling for Martinelli as well. Certainly an option, but I think I'm going Odegaard first over Martinelli, which is probably why, when you always have the question of who should we bring in, it's someone or Martinelli. And because it's that someone tends to be a bit better, Martinelli's getting caught out on the options. But I also had an answer to Sai's question that Danny highlighted. Have you ever seen a manager other than Ollie trying so hard to get the sack? I would like to present to Sai Jose Mourinho's career. It's just a man who has tried to get himself sacked from at least 6 clubs. Maybe more. It's one of those of trying to bring new players in. I'd like to be playing the ones we've got in form as well. And naturally, I don't think our club captain is in form right now. Danny, would you try and bring other people in? Is it a chance to give Nketiah minutes, or maybe Balogun minutes?
Balogun needs to go out on loan. We saw from the first couple of games of the season, even against a team like Brentford, who had 5 minutes in the sun and are now plummeting down the table, that he is not ready. He's been used to playing men against boys. He's magnificent against under 23s. He's the new star of the England under 21 side now that Eddie is. I don't think he's old enough. He's too old to play for them. But he needs a loan. He needs to go out there and play against men where you're going to get an elbow in the balls every now and then and a tooth knocked out, Gabriel style. And he needs to do that. He needs to go and play in the Championship, no lower than the Championship. I'd like to see him at somewhere like Fulham, where their whole game revolves around getting Mitrovic to get goals. Maybe Mitrovic gets done for international war crimes or something, because he looks the sort. And then they'll need someone up front who can do that. So, but Eddie's gone. Eddie's dead to us. Don't want to see Eddie play anymore unless he's going to sign the contract. I don't even want him to sign the contract. He's had his chances. He can only score from 6 inches and no further out. Lee's League Cup record is really good, but unfortunately we're better than a League Cup side. And what's the point in having Martinelli at the club? We saw under Emery in that League Cup run and the UEFA Cup run, the Europa League run, the amount of goals he was scoring. When that boy is on form, he is scintillating. I remember saying he's the new Thierry Henry. As in he was quite tall and good looking. I didn't mean as in his football ability. But Martinelli, either play Martinelli or sell him, because what is happening with Martinelli is unfair to the kid. And we're throwing more money away, because every day you don't play him is another day closer to him leaving on a free transfer. Because if you're not playing him, he's not going to sign a new contract. And he's seen from 2 years ago the ability that he's got. So when Aubameyang goes away, but he'll be back after 3 games because his team is shit, I want to see Martinelli play some games. Although, just like Balogun, when he played the first couple of games of the season, he was rubbish. Well, we had an entire team of rubbish players then. But it is.
Yeah, it's like we were saying with Partey. If Partey came into a midfield that was decent, he'd have a fighting chance at improving us. I think it's the same with Martinelli, that we've just about sorted out, I think, the back 6, if we include Thomas Partey in that. There's still question marks about who partners him. And then we know Saka and Smith Rowe probably start. There's some consistency now. And we've got it's now more of a solid foundation for somebody to come in like Martinelli and have those opportunities. But yeah, maybe it's Newcastle. They're a potential option for us. I think if Aubameyang was in form, then we could have him playing, scoring a couple of goals, getting the game won, and then bringing Martinelli on. Formerly knows that's too far out for Chris.
His little woodpecker. So it's been nearly an hour. We should start wrapping this up. Where do we go from here, Karl? What would you like to see change for the Newcastle game?
I would drop Aubameyang. I honestly would. We're playing Newcastle at home. It's a game that we kind of should win. Let's be very honest with ourselves. That is, if we do not get 3 points from that game, then there's something seriously wrong. Newcastle haven't won a game all season, so there's no reason why they should expect to come to Arsenal and win. Not at all. Even with their new manager bounce with Eddie Howe, we should still beat them. And I would love to see Lacazette play up front and then play the midfield three of Odegaard, Saka, and also Emile Smith-Rowe. Because we should absolutely be beating Newcastle. I would like to see possibly Kieran Tierney come back into the squad if he's fit. If he's not fit, then no, that's not the reason. I'm not just trying to drop Tavares just because he had a bad game. Kieran Tierney is meant to be sort of our starting left back. Then yeah, we all knew that Kieran Tierney wouldn't be able to play every single game this season. His injury record speaks for itself. I would definitely bring Ainsley Maitland-Niles into midfield for Sambi Lokonga. Definitely, I think Maitland-Niles has kind of proven today that, he deserves a chance. Give him a start against Newcastle. And like I said, Newcastle are not exactly, going to be the biggest threat in the world. So definitely bring in Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and apart from that, the team kind of picks itself, doesn't it? The back four, apart from Tierney, picks itself. The goalkeeper picks itself. The two centre midfielders pick itself. So the only massive change I would definitely drop our striker and start Lacazette. What about you, Josh?
I would stick with almost the majority, and Tierney would be the player that would come in for me. I wouldn't change too much from that. I think I'd just leave it there. I think maybe we'll put the Pirate in charge for the game instead. Give Arteta the night off and see what Chris can do. See how difficult it is.
Give it to Carpenter to the end of the season.
Give it to Carpenter for the end of probably to the end of the first half. First half, end of the first half of the Newcastle game, and then once Lacazette's done after about 60 minutes, they can go and coddle in the showers, and Arteta can come back in and sort out the mess that Chris has created.
Okay.
Don't ask me what I'd do other than bringing Tierney back. I think leave it as it is. We've shown in all these previous games that we're a decent team. We're slowly building together. I mean, you look at Liverpool 18 months or 2 years after Klopp took over. They weren't the greatest team in the league. It's all taking time, and that was a really good point you made, Josh. We're including Partey. That back five, that they're all nailed in place. If you include Tierney, and it's everything else about that. Some people made a point earlier on in the chat. We need midfielders and we need strikers. Whether it's someone to play next to. I mean, could Partey play next to Odegaard? Would that work?
It could work. It could. I'd need to see more from Odegaard to do that, and I think it depends on what we're doing with the wingers. But it could be an option for us. It could be one we see at the weekend. But I think going with the kind of 4-2-3-1 that we see from Arteta at the moment, and with a 4-4-2 defending, I think. Yeah, it would be the formation I'd like us to go with, but I'm not sure it's one that we'll ever see. We'll just, I think, stick with, as Karl said, it's either Sambi or it's Maitland-Niles to partner him. Maitland-Niles to make everybody think that he's the second coming of Yaya Toure.
Especially if you can get one over Joe Willock as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Someone he's grew up with.
Yeah. Yeah, and just go, neither of us are getting in the England side. Fuck you. Because that's the best that they can do. I wouldn't make too many other changes. I think it's more about, what this team as a general whole, without too many chops and changes, was 10 games unbeaten until now. And that back five wasn't established until that run. So I wouldn't be mixing things up too much. That's the benefit of having one game a week, is that we don't need to be rotating the team consistently. And it's why I wouldn't be trying to bring in players that are complete wildcards as well. I don't want to go, let's start Martinelli, because see what happens. The league is quite important for us this season. It's the only opportunity for us to really define if we're going to end up in Europe. As Danny said, League Cup, have we got an opportunity there? FA Cup, again, it's going to be a fluke if we end up there, but we know we don't want to end up in the Europa, Jumbelos, Coca-Cola Cup, whatever it's called, thing that Spurs are in. And Europa League, I think some people, after poo-pooing it for 5 or 6 years, would snap your hand off now for being in the Europa League. And saying in terms of top four, I mean, yeah, we could say the top three that we're talking about will probably run away with it. It will be a scrap in for who gets to top four.
West Ham lost today. After all this, Josh, we're still fifth. And if all the teams below us win, we're still fifth. West Ham lost today. Man United lost today. And we lost. So the teams around us all lost. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think
how many teams are going to go to Anfield this season and beat them?
Well, that's the thing, as you say. The only teams that are probably expecting not to lose when they go to Anfield are the other two teams that we're expecting to be in the top three.
They drew 1-1. Chelsea drew, didn't they? And Man City haven't been there yet.
Yeah, and Liverpool will have an off day at some point, and some random team will just fucking destroy them on a day, and maybe it gives them an extra 3 points, but you know what it'll be? It'll be someone like Wolves or Burnley will go there and win. And that doesn't affect us in our run for the fourth place finish. It is basically between us, West Ham, and so long as they don't sack their manager, I don't think Man United are a problem for us. Conte at Spurs, we'll see what he's going to be like.
They're going to be bored shitless of him as manager.
But yeah, as you say, but we're in fifth at the moment. We're in a good position.
With a very easy game coming up, and then after that,
we play Man United. Yeah, well, it'll be the new manager bounce or another reason for Ole to be back at the wheel. And
I sadly think that they will get rid of him.
They're after Zidane.
Zidane won't come.
English lessons. He's taking
his
English
wife
lessons,
doesn't want to come to Manchester.
I don't blame her.
Nor do I.
Would you want to go to Manchester?
So I think that's the only reason Ollie will still be there when we get there, is because they can't find anybody else. They would talk to Conte, and I know this from the transfer podcast with I can't remember his name, Duncan Castle. Yeah, I was listening to that last night. That's how I know this. Otherwise, I don't know these people. But that's the only reason why he'll still be there. It's because they can't find anybody else.
They'll end up with someone like just like Laurent Blanc will come back.
I do worry. Just a little bit. I am worried about Conte being at Spurs. I am like, Conte's not a shit manager. He's
a boring manager.
But he will get them playing. He will get them. If he kind of gets them working how he wants to, sadly, they will do well. And I'm not saying that he's going to be the second coming of anybody, that he's going to get them to the top of the league. But we are fighting them, Man United and West Ham, for that fourth place. And I just don't want them to sneak in.
Oh, they'll finish mid-table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Cesc Fabregas said about Conte?
No.
There was a quote from him this week where he said, Conte used to tell me as a midfielder where to pass the ball. I'm a 29-year-old midfielder at the time, and I'd won everything in the game, and he's telling me where to pass the ball. No. So there you go. Right, I think we should go now. Thank you very much. We've had about 50 people on and off all day, which is lovely. Sai has ended it with an Arteta out and a Wenger in. No. Don't don't think anyone else is saying anything of any. Yes, right. And
well, Chris hasn't said anything of note all day, has he? So
no, he hasn't. Yes. So there you go. At the moment, I was going to give you a link to Mike and Gooner's pod doing a thing, but he's not. In the chat, I'm putting a link here to the hybrid squad. Sophie and Big Kev Campbell are there. They're doing their show. They've got about 500 people watching them, so 496. There you go. So go along to there, go and join in. And so most of you are going to go there anyway. So go there and tell them we sent you. And this tomorrow, there is a special show on the hybrid squad. It is me and Kev Campbell that we did about 2 months ago. So everything I said was completely irrelevant now. Don't hold that against me. That's worth seeing. And yes, that's it. Anything else to say, Josh, before we go, or Karl?
Keep the faith. We've got Newcastle next. There's no reason why we shouldn't beat Newcastle. So expect a Joe Willock 40-yard screamer, top corner, 1-0 win, sadly.
Yeah, and I say we've come back from worse. Just ask Rob Holding in his hairline.
And what better way to end the show? Ollie in. That's all we want. We want Ollie to stay. Doing a great job. And
fantastic job. He needs to stay.
It is. And I'll be watching Match of the Day tonight. Well, some of it, not all of it. Right. And we should be back midweek with a podcast, probably on Wednesday. And as for the next live show, I don't know. We're glory hunters. So God knows when the next one will be. It'll be
obviously, if we lose to Newcastle, then it'll be Chris on, definitely.
He'll do one on his own.
Yeah,
him with a couple of hand puppets, a couple of marionettes screaming that we need to burn the club down. He's gone anyway. He's not put anything in here for ages. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you again, probably next week. Goodbye.